Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Everquest Old School. And tonight we are back on our Cleric. I know it's been a few episodes since we played him, mainly because I've been logging on lately a little bit later than normal. And this server does have quite a few people to play with, but depending on the time of day you log on, yeah, you may have a difficult time finding groups, and that's kind of what I've been running into. Is there's usually two, sometimes three groups in this zone when I do log on really late at night, but they're usually pretty full, and they're not looking for more people. At least not within the first 30 minutes of me sitting there waiting. And after about 30 minutes to 40 minutes, I usually just say, okay, I'll play another character, and that's why I've been playing my Shaman, playing my Shadow Knight, and things of that sort. Plus, I kind of wanted to give you guys a break of this room because, as you can see, as a Cleric, you're kind of relegated to the back. I mean, you're not really doing that much. Hold on, let me check the... One of you should... Other heal... who is warding undead? I just realized the corpse in front of us belongs to... Okay, so just making sure they're not saying anything I need to do. But we have two Clerics in our group. One's a level 16, and I am, of course, level 17. About 2 bubbles into it. Hopefully we'll get level 18 tonight. Can't guarantee it, but the experience in here is pretty good. Now, did he rage quit lacking? Okay. I'm just trying to keep up with the conversation. They're actually talking quite a bit tonight, and I don't want to miss something when they're asking, because they literally just joined the group like 5 minutes ago, so I'm still getting acclimated, making sure that I know who's who. Although it seems like we have a really good group tonight, because the other healer sent me a message letting me know that chances are we're not going to have to do that much tonight. It's been pretty easy for her all by herself, and now that there's two of us, pretty much what I'm going to do is actually use my attack spell, the Expulse Undead. So let's see, is he gonna bring somebody else? Nope, nobody else is up yet. So as I was saying before, as a Cleric, for me anyways, because I tend to gravitate more towards groups, you will probably get tired of a certain room fairly easy, and that is kind of intentional, guys. I mean, I'm not doing it to make you tired of the room, but to give you a full experience of this game. It's kind of like what this is. You come in here, you sit down, you do your job, whether you're a rogue or a shaman or a necro or whatever the case may be. You do all of that. And then you're still here. You're still in that same room because it takes so long to get any experience. And so you got to remember that eventually you get high enough level that you can kind of go to another room, but it may be too soon. You know, you're kind of pushing it. You're level 17, and the next room might be accessible to you at level 19, but then you get offered to get into the group, and you're like, yeah, I'll do it. And the reason you're pushing it is because you've been in that other room for so long, you're literally starving for a change. Or somebody offers you a group in a whole nother zone, and you literally will run, 15 zones to get there, because you've been stuck in that room for so long. So it is part of the game. That tiredness almost of seeing the same thing really does come into play when finding groups and pushing you to go to places that you normally wouldn't go to. And in other games, you'll go through the zone so quickly that you're not really being pushed to leave that zone and go to another zone of the same level. You're just like, I'll just stay here, finish off the zone, and move to the next tier, whatever that is, And in this one, you may be stuck from level 20 to level 30 for quite some time, and so it really is worth it for you to not just sit inside one zone, but go off to other zones. And for me, I can't really move around that easily because I'm a Cleric, so I don't run very fast. I don't usually have Sow on because that's kind of difficult to get sometimes, finding a Druid or a Shaman to cast it on you. And, for the most part, I tend to stay in one zone and then go off to another one, only if like a guild invites me, or if I know friends that are over there, or if I know that's a really good zone that I really want to go to. But right now, because of the times I play, I kind of have to pick the zones that are really popular. There's zones out there that you can find groups in, but if you don't log on at the prime time of the day, chances are you're not going to get into a group. It's just going to be very difficult. But there's other zones like this and Eastern Commons, very popular zones that no matter what time of the night you log on, there's going to be people there. You still may not be able to find a group, but there's going to be people there at least. And so you gotta keep that in mind when trying to pick out a zone. You gotta really think about what your play style is, what time of the night, what time of the day you're going to be logging on, and if your playtime changes, if it goes back and forth because your job scheduling changes quite a bit, or you're trying to balance when to play the game with your real life and things of that sort, just keep an eye out for what zones seem to be very popular, and you can still go off the beaten path and go to these weird zones and really get to experience them when people are on, when you're playing during a peak hour. But if you do log on late at night, at least you know where to go, rather than just to sit there and basically not be able to find a group in the zone you really want to, or to try to solo if that's not your thing. If you don't want to, go off and be by yourself for a long period of time, there's nothing wrong with that. There's people out there who do nothing but soloing, and there's people out there who do nothing but grouping. And there's a small group of people who do both. I mean, usually you won't find people who enjoy soloing and grouping at the same time, because it is such a different aspect to the game. It takes a different skill in both of those. I've seen people who are incredible soloists. They can do some amazing things with kiting and all that other stuff. And then when they get into groups, they suck worse than anybody I've ever seen, because they don't know what they're doing. Like, they don't get into groups very often, so they're not used to the things that you have to do, keeping up with buffs and being aware of where the tank is, and just tons and tons of things that you need to be aware of. And the same is vice versa for people who have been in groups. You could be the greatest person in a group, very very aware of what other people are going through, so that you can help them out with whatever you have on your ability tree versus somebody else. And then when you take those people and you put them into a soloist situation, like me, I suck completely. It's like I try to solo with my cleric, and I've mentioned this in the past. The warrior clerics, and I just never get it. There's people out there who can make it work, but for me, I've never really been able to do that with that guy. I've been able to do it with my necro, and I'm fine doing it with that guy. But there's people out there who will solo with no matter what class it is, and they're really good at it. And there's people out there who can group, and they're really good at it. Finding somebody who can do both is incredibly rare. Finding somebody who can do both and enjoys doing both is even rarer, because I don't really see very many people do that, to be honest, guys. Oh great, healer's getting hit. Let me come over here so you guys get a little bit better view. This is where everybody's sitting, and I figured I'd go ahead and change the view a little bit to give you guys just a different perspective, rather than having to see the same one over and over and over again. I think this might actually kill it right here. Oh no. So it went from 20 to 6% in one hit. Where's that mummy going? Yeah, I think we're gonna get a train here in a second, because one of our creatures ran off and didn't come back. And in this game, as I said many times before, guys, when something runs off, it's gonna be bad. It's because creatures don't ever lose aggro with you, and so if a creature runs off, it still has that aggro on you. It got distracted for whatever reason, or it's going down a paving issue or something along those lines. And every creature it runs by, it has the chance of pulling that creature with it. And I say has the chance because I've seen plenty of times where it'll run by these creatures and it doesn't pull. It'll run by 5, 10, 15 creatures and doesn't pull any of them. And then I've seen it where it doesn't even run by them, it just simply walks past the room and it will pull every creature and then some. So it's really hard to figure out how bad a train is going to be, because it can be completely random sometimes. And I'm sure there's a way to figure it out, because in some zones you're going to learn the paving, and you're going to learn, if a creature walks by there or a person walks by there, they're going to get the aggro. But there's no standard I can give you, because every zone is a little different. And that's kind of cool, actually. I think that really adds a lot to the game, because if everything was the same, it'd be pretty easy to master it. And I think part of the reason this game continues, other than the multiplayer aspect, is that it does continually challenge you. I mean, you could sit here in Unrest and learn this zone forwards and backwards, and then all of a sudden go to another zone and not know it at all, and all of you're back at square one. You're like a newbie again, and so it's pretty cool. I mean, well, what are they fighting over here? A ghoul. And remember, when you fight these ghouls, you have to have a magical weapon to hit them, unless you're using your spells. You don't have to have anything special for your spells to hit, other than the fact that you need to be high enough level for that to happen. If you're too low, they're going to resist it all the time, and you're better off that you don't waste your power if you know it's just going to get resisted. Because there's going to come a point at a certain level that, you know, your spells will be resisted a little less often, a little less often, and never at all for the most part. So if you're right there on the line, and half your spells are getting resisted and half of them aren't, well, then it maybe not be a waste to use it. Otherwise, it's not like you're using it on anything else. But if you are constantly always getting resisted, and there's never a time that it goes through to hit that creature, then just stop casting. I mean, it's better to have full power than to literally sit there and waste it on a creature that you can't hit. Save it for the next guy and use twice as much on him. Kill that one faster. Is what I'm trying to say. It's just, if you're fighting a creature like a ghouls that occasionally get tossed into this room, and when I first came here, I literally could not hit them with my spells or with my weapon. I just left them alone. I used my spells, I used my healing, I used my buffs. So there's so many other things that your character should have. Even if you're not playing a cleric, you should be able to, do something else with your power to help the group out a little bit. Now, somebody in your group is going to have to be able to hit that guy. Whether it's your tank who has a magical weapon, or a wizard who's high enough level in your group. Somebody has to be able to kill it. Otherwise, leave them alone. You need to know what your limits are, and if you can't hit that creature as much as you would like to kill him, you have to leave him alone. And that's a lesson they actually kind of teach you at a low level. A lot of low-level zones will have will-o-wisp, going through their zone. And they're not exactly the highest level. They're creatures that you could kill in the game at that moment if you had a magical weapon. And a lot of people will attack it without realizing that you need one, because you're a low level and you just started the game, you didn't realize, and you'll find out right away when it says it's invulnerable to your attacks that you can't kill those. But those people who do get a magical weapon, which is usually a gift by somebody, because in the very beginning of the game, it's almost impossible to find a magical weapon. They're not easily found when you first start off. They're weapons that you will get off of creatures, but usually named creatures. And named creatures don't usually drop decent weapons until a higher level. I mean, I'm sure there's a few out there that do, but for the most part, you're not going to find one. So for those who do get one as a gift, or just a random just a random nice little thing that somebody's going around tossing on people because they're high level and they want to give back to the community a little bit, and you find you can kill those, they're usually really, really good experience, the creatures that need magical weapons to get killed. And I think they do that on purpose, because they're making the creature harder, first of all, because you need that weapon to kill it. And because it's harder, you're going to get a little bit more out of it. And it's usually quite a bit more out of it, to be honest. The will-o-wisp at lower levels, especially like where the Iskars spawn, those are usually really, really good experience. So you do definitely want to kill them if you can. The same thing over here, the ghouls. The ghouls give you so much more experience than the regular skeletons do. You can kind of take that into account because they are higher level to boot, but they are getting you a little bit more. Plus, this zone Unrest has a bonus modification to the whole zone. So when you kill something in here, you get a bonus amount of experience. I forgot what the number is, but it's pretty high. And again, the reason they did that is so that it promotes you to fight in dungeons. If you get more experience in this zone than another zone, then more people are going to come to this zone just because of that. And then, therefore, you can find more people to group with. And that was the reasoning behind it, is just to get everybody together in one little spot. At least promote that as much as they could, because even with that bonus experience, there's still plenty of people who will go to other zones. ZK's telling me something. Hold on a second, guys. Actually, he didn't tell me anything. He just sent me a message. I think he's actually, yeah, I think he's coming over here because he said he had some gifts he wanted to give me. And he's actually been incredibly nice so far. I mean, he's, oh, okay, he's on his way. You know, he's just been giving me stuff that he's growing out of with his shaman, because he's doing, for those of you guys who haven't watched any of those other videos, he's another YouTuber, and we've actually done, oh, it's fizzling here. There we go. Wow, that didn't get off in time. But yeah, he's another YouTuber, and you guys should definitely check out his channel. He's just starting. He's still getting used to doing the videos, so, you know, don't be too hard on, you know, any imperfections you might find. I mean, we're all in that situation. I'm the same way. I'm still learning and still going through things, you know, and so, but I think his videos are pretty good, and you guys should definitely check them out. And tonight, he said he was gonna run over and buff me up and give me some stuff, which, you know, is incredibly nice to do, guys. I'm not asking for that. If you guys just want to group with me or just want to come by and wave to the camera and say hello or something like that, more than welcome to do that. You don't have to give me anything at all. But, you know, if you want to, that's fine. I'll give you a shout out and let people know what kind of person you are, because that is incredibly nice to do that. And then I'll definitely show off the items, because I'm sure people out there want to see, you know, what kind of items should you get at this level. And for the most part, you don't really have to get the best stuff. You know, this game is not one of those things where you really want to save up for that one good item rather than, you know, get like 4 or 5 normal ones. It's actually the reverse. You do want to get like the 4 or 5 decent items rather than the one supreme item, in my opinion. Because as you level up, you're going to get more and more money. It's going to get easier and easier to get a little bit more cash. And the whole point behind getting the normal stuff is it really makes a huge difference on your character in the meantime. And then you can go and sell all that stuff and make back the cash that you spent, because items usually retain their price, their going price, for quite a long time. It may be, you know, if a new zone comes out or a new expansion comes out, the items from the previous expansions usually lose quite a bit of value. But beyond that, beyond an expansion coming out, you're probably not going to risk losing value on anything that you've bought, unless for some reason people tend to gravitate more towards that zone all of a sudden and start, you know, basically harvesting. They're camping the area and killing those creatures over and over and over again. And because they're doing that now, there's more of those items available, and because there's more items available, the price goes down. But usually, you know, I'm not going to tell you always, because, you know, things change. But from what I've seen, if you buy the gold and the Freedy boots at a certain price, they're going to be around that same price. Now, when you bought those items, you may have overpaid. You really got to do your homework and figure out what the average price is. And then even once you figure out what the average price is, you have to take into account how much time are you going to spend looking for that item. Because you can sit over there at Eastern Commons for 3 or 4 days and get the item maybe 200, 300, 400 platinum cheaper, because you sat there and you waited for the right guy to sell it to you. Or you can sit over there in Eastern Commons looking for the item and find somebody who's selling it to you, or selling it at that exact moment within 5 seconds of asking for it, but he wants a little bit more platinum than what you're willing to pay for it. So do you want it immediately? You may have to pay a little bit more. Do you want the best price? You may have to wait a little bit longer. Not always the case, though. Sometimes you get incredibly lucky. I know I've gotten over there and I start looking for an item, you know, back in the past when I was playing hardcore when it first came out, and, you know, I would log on, start looking for the item, somebody would be selling it, and they'd be selling it like half at the price that I've seen it go for. And, you know, of course I bought it. You know, of course I get it right then and there. And, you know, I even try to give them a little bit extra, because I feel bad if you're, you know, taking too much of advantage of somebody that may not know, you know, what that is worth. But yeah, most of the time they would just decline it. They'd be like, no, that, you know, 500 is fine, 500 platinum is fine, because there's such a high level, and they've had this stuff, you know, just sitting in the bank. They just, you know, not everybody wants to go to Eastern Commons and sell items, so people will put it off. You know, they're going to do it eventually because they have to, but people will put it off and keep it all in the bank and before long their bank fills up and they got, 20, 30 items to sell. So they're like, fine, 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 I'll go do it. And really all they're trying to do is get rid of it and not delete it. Some people have so much cash just from killing giants and like Wrath Mountains or doing zones, and selling like one item. If you get one really, really good item, you can get several hundred or several thousand platinum off of just one item. And you may actually get paid for it right then and there. I've seen people who are looking for a specific item who can't get into that group. They're waiting on the waiting list, or the group is, or that thing is always camped, and they just, whatever class they are, just isn't one of the ones that people want. So to get a better price, or to try to find one in general, they literally go to the room where it spawns, and they're sitting there with the group. And when one falls, they're asked to buy it. They'll be like, I'm paying a high price. Here's 2,000 platinum for that item if you guys get one. And sometimes groups, if nobody in that group really needs it, we'll just split that 2,000 platinum between the 6 people, or somebody will win that item, sell it to that guy for the 2,000 platinum, and you get like instant money, right, basically from the item. And if you do that a couple times, you're not really hurting for platinum. And if you got into max level and you like to go, zone, or go to the zones where you can get your loot for your Pacific class, if you like the gold and the Freedy boots and you really want those, and you don't really want to spend the money, you can go camp them yourself. And if you do it that way, well, then you're not really spending your cash on anything, and so you have a lot more to boot. And so a lot of these people who do that kind of thing, because that's the kind of way I used to play, is I never went in and sold. I prefer just to give stuff away rather than to sell it. So I wasn't one of those people who went over there and did that kind of thing. But there's a lot of people who kind of stay away from Eastern Commons, the selling part of it, because it's just not their kind of thing to do. And if you're like that, then it's going to come a point where you just have all this cash on you, and these lower level items really aren't anything to you. I mean, yeah, you can sell them for 200-300 platinum, but 200-300 platinum doesn't mean anything to you because you got 40,000-50,000 platinum in the bank. So that's what a lot of these people are doing. They're literally just taking all that stuff, selling it at bargain basement prices. Sorry guys, I can't talk tonight. And just trying to get it out there rather than delete it. They probably give it to you for free if nobody wants it. If they've been sitting there for like an hour and they're just okay, I only got 2-3 pieces left and nobody's really buying these things, they may quite literally just offer people those items, just giving them away. Somebody will take them. Somebody will either take it to use on their character, which is kind of hard to find in Eastern Commons, somebody who actually will use it, because there are a lot of low-level characters sitting there selling items, and that's because a lot of the high-level characters will... and there's ZK right there, guys. Let's stand up and wave. Actually, stand up. There we go. Wow, he ran all the way over here already. That's pretty quick, man. And he's looking pretty good. He got the golden and Freedy boots on. You can see it right there, the little golden boots. Now, those are pretty much the best boots in the game for a wisdom or intelligent caster. They have 9 of wisdom and 9 intelligence. So yeah, it's... Oh, he's buffing us up. Wow. Wow, I definitely need to take the foot out of my mouth so I can speak properly tonight. This is... Spirit of the Wolf. Oh, I love getting Spirit of the Wolf. Especially in this zone where you never can quite tell if there's going to be a train. If a train pops out of the blue, it's kind of nice to know that I can get away, because I am quite over-encumbered most of the time. And I'm not actually that over-encumbered right now because he's giving me a strength buff. You can see my strength has gone up, my dexterity has gone up. I believe my... No, I don't think my wisdom has gone up, actually. I do believe my intelligence has gone up. Something he's given me has made my intelligence go up, along with my hit points, obviously. Let's see. This is quite a bit of stuff, guys. Deafness, strength, chloroplast. Chloroplast is one of the greatest spells ever, guys. It's a regen spell. It makes a huge, huge difference. What about... Okay, so he's giving me a damage shield, I think. I think that's a damage shield. Or not, yeah. Okay, let's see. So they're looking for one more person in my group. else did he give me right here? Agility. Agility and stamina. Nice. So now my hit points are up to 600. These are crazy, man. Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna go ahead and attack this thing. Now, I was gonna go ahead and pause it while he was here and just, you know, show you the stuff once we get back, but yeah, there's no real reason to pause it. I mean, if you guys don't mind me not completely and totally talking every second while he's here, because I do have to not only concentrate on the group, but I don't want to ignore him. So let's see. I do like the book. That's a pretty cool looking book, man. I don't really see that many shamans with books. I usually see them walking around with spears. So that's kind of a nice little change so that you're not just like everybody else. Oh, okay, so here's the equipment. And I'll show you guys what that looks like. Holy crap, he's giving me quite a bit. Let's see, 2 wisdom ring. That's pretty nice. And, oh, nice. 3 wisdom on the neck. And another 2 wisdom on the helmet. And 20 mana. Let's go ahead and hit trade. Holy crap. Okay, so where's the cape? Let me look at that so you guys can see that. Wow, that's a pretty nice cape. Holy crap, another one. Okay, yeah, we'll definitely take it, but man, that's a lot. Oh, that's nice. 3 wisdom, 3 intelligence. For me, the 2 AC is just a bonus basically because, you know, you're a cleric. Oh, he was cleaning his bank out. Wow, that's cool, man. Thank you so much, ZK. That's really nice of you to do that. So let's go ahead and put this stuff on. Now, I do have a bracer on already, so let me look at the ones we have. That one only adds 7 AC, and this one adds 3 agility. So we're gonna get rid of the 7 AC one. And put that one on because I would rather have the stats than the actual AC, because again, we don't really get hit that often, so it's not that big of a deal. Now, I do have a cape on, which is 8 AC, and this one actually does the exact same. It does the 8 AC. Let me close 2 of these down so you can see both of them at the same time. That's the new cape, and this is the old one. Now, so they both do 8 AC, but the new one adds 9 agility and 35 mana. 9 agility is really nice for some classes. Not really going to be that beneficial for me. It is going to help me out in the long run, but it's not going to be huge. The thing that I really want is the 35 mana. That's basically 3.5 wisdom. You know, because every wisdom gives you around 10 mana. I think past level 30 or 40, I think is what it is. I can give you next set of spells. Oops, the earring that sells. Okay, so it's an earring he wants me to sell to the. Yeah, it doesn't have any stats. Let me send those. So yeah, he's actually going to do his next video for his epic. So I'm gonna let him do that. But again, man, just a huge shout out. Thank you so much for that. And definitely, guys, if you're watching, go check his channel out. You can see that he's a really nice guy, and he's always willing to help other people out if you're stuck somewhere, you have questions, and you know, he just came over here to give me stuff just because, you know. So that's incredibly nice. But to show you the cloak, okay, so we know that one's better. We're gonna go ahead and put that one on then. Let's put that over here. Now, I will be giving all these items away to other people. you know, the ones I'm replacing. Let's see. Okay, so we got a hat, which is up, and this is my old hat. So let's see. The new one gives me 2 wisdom and 20 mana, so that's basically 4 wisdom there. The old one has 3 wisdom on it and 3 intelligence. The new one is better because it has more AC to boot. Yeah, I'm going to wear the new one, and I am going to give the old one away to somebody. Or I may throw it on my shaman in the meantime, until I find somebody who can use it. Because it's not always easy to find somebody who's actually going to use it for a long period of time. You know, I don't like to just randomly run up to people and give them incredibly good stuff. I kind of want to go to a zone where I see people actually fighting and grouping together with other people, and give them stuff that way, because then I know that they're not like a twink, and they're actually playing the game. Because if you go to a low-level zone, you just give stuff away to people, you never know if tomorrow they're going to decide, it's not really the game for me, and then those items are lost pretty much until somebody else kills those creatures. So if you do get items, basically, guys, from other people, and then you decide that the game's not really for you, make sure, no matter what game you're playing, make sure you log on and just give that stuff away. Just give it away to other people so that, you know, it's still in the... Oh, that guy's almost dead. I was trying to do a little bit of attack because I got full power, and this spell really fizzles quite a bit, so I do need to work on this skill, obviously. And I do need to put the rest of them on. But I don't want my group to feel like I'm not doing anything at all, because I'm kind of not actually doing anything right now. So let's see, what else do I have? I have a leather gorget, which goes on the next slot. So let's close this one down and look at what I'm wearing. So I'm wearing a 2 AC, and the new one, yeah, it's completely and totally better. 4 AC, 3 wisdom, 5 mana, resist versus fire, disease, cold, magic, and poison by 3. Those actually is really cool. I mean, you don't really get too many items that have resist on at this level, and it's really going to make a big difference. So we're gonna put that on. Now the rings. Let's close these down. Let's look at both rings, and look at the 2 rings that I have on right now. So I have one that has -1 charisma, +1 wisdom. Oh, great, I'm getting hit by something. Let's go ahead and root it. Yeah, you root it, punk. Okay, so while they're dealing with that, I'll go ahead and sit back down again. 17 Druid looking for Roop. Okay, so they can get the 17 Druid. We'll just have extra healers here. Okay, but back to the ring, because I'm getting distracted here by the game, which I do have to concentrate on to make sure that nobody dies while I'm doing this. But so we got 3 strength, 30 mana. That's basically a 3 wisdom ring right there. That's one I already have on. I also have a +1 wisdom and a -1 charisma. The new one, the water ring, is... I wonder why... Oh, no. I picked that up off of a creature. Sorry, that water ring, nothing to do with it. The one he gave me is the Jasper ring, 2 wisdom. So what I can do is take off my silver ring, which actually gives me -1 charisma, and put on the new one. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Because the 30 mana, again, is kind of like 3 wisdom. And so I don't really want to replace that one just yet. Plus the 3 strength is incredibly nice, because I am constantly overweight. So let's put this on. We'll close the moon ring down. And now my wisdom is up to 140. Not bad. Man, that's pretty cool. And I got some new items to give away. This one I just have to sell, he said. Right? That's the one? Yep, that's it. Just the one to sell. He said that sells for about 100 platinum, by the way. So that's a pretty nice ring. For some cash. Now, he already gave me 100 platinum earlier, which I actually haven't been able to make it back to town since the last visit he came, because the last... I actually tried to make it back to town like 15 times, you guys, and it sounds a little ridiculous, but every single time I tried to make it back to town, I got attacked. I quite literally had to gate back because I can't take the hits, even from creatures that are lower level than me. I can't take the hits. And if I'm all by myself and root fails, 2, 3, 4 times in a row, which it's known to do quite often, actually, and they fail, then I'm left fighting. I'm actually left tanking the creature. And even if I could dish out enough damage for one creature, using my attack spells, that will pretty much drain all of my power trying to blast one creature down and not die. And if you immediately get attacked afterwards, or try to run off to a corner and sit down and med up and heal up and get attacked, then that's pretty much it. It's pretty much game over for you, because you can't run away from the creature fast enough unless you have so. And most of the time when I try to go back, it's because I've been sitting over here in the zone for 6-7 hours doing groups, and now I'm on my way back, and I'm carrying a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm over encumbered, and I'm trying to get through this area, and I just haven't been able to do it. It's actually incredibly difficult sometimes if the roamers just keep getting you, and it's yeah. So I do need to go back to town. I do need to go back to town to sell and buy more food. In fact, I'm pretty low on food at the moment, I believe. Food and water. Yeah, I'm only down to about 1 stack for both, and that kind of sucks. Breastplate, I think. Yeah, bronze breastplate. But yeah, I actually gave quite a bit of food away to people just because they were low and they needed a little bit more, and so I gave them a whole bunch because I had an entire backpack full of it at the time, and now I'm down to 1 stack. So yeah, you can see just how easy it is to run out of food if you're here for a decent amount of time. Rooted at the moment. Druid is helping us. So let's go ahead and attack. I wasn't sure if he was helping us or if he was... Oh, he resisted? Oh, man, I haven't had one of these guys resist me in a long time. I wonder what level that guy was. Well, that killed him, though. Didn't resist that 91 damage. Okay, Druid okay with you guys? Anything works? Yeah, I think, like I said many times in other videos, that once you get to a certain point and your group is doing well on its own, then anybody else that you have a spot for, it doesn't really matter the class after that. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying that if your group is doing well, then whether you get a druid or a shaman or a necro or a wizard, they're just going to be adding to the damage that's being done, no matter what class it is. Even a cleric, like in this zone, clerics do enormous amounts of damage, but in other zones they're not going to do that much, and it's going to eat up a lot of their power. But even they will add just a little bit more damage to the group if they're using their attacks. So if you're able to handle it, there's no reason not to invite somebody if they're looking for a group and you got the spot. Unless you're trying to create a better group so that you can go to a zone or a part in the zone, a room maybe that's a little bit more difficult, then yeah, okay, you might want to be a little bit more picky about what classes you pick. But overall, yeah, you don't really have to worry about that. And Dan from Buffalo, which is the name of the druid that just joined us, I'm guessing is a dude because his name is Dan, but completely naked almost. She doesn't have very much armor. Yeah, hey. And I'm just gonna call him he or her because she's playing a female character, and if you're playing a female character, I'm just going to assume you're female. I mean, there's no rules that say you have to be, and most of the time, chances are it's not going to be. But just for purposes of the videos, if I'm looking at your character and it's a female, I'm gonna call it a female. So she's not wearing very much, and druids, I believe, only get to wear leather armor. So plate drops here, but they won't be able to use it, which kind of sucks to be in a zone where loot is dropping. The loot's better than what you're wearing, especially if you're not wearing anything at all. And then, yeah, not being able to use it at all really kind of sucks. So that's another aspect of the game you kind of want to take into account on where to zone or where to group and where to kill, because if you're an ogre, you need items that are large. There's clothing that's small, medium, or large, and you need the large kind. So if the zone doesn't drop large equipment, you're not going to be able to use it, and that really does suck for you. If you're a healer and you know that there's a zone out there that drops a lot of really cool, wisdom items, that's the zone you kind of should be gravitating towards. But keep in mind, too, that chances... Oh, holy crap, everybody got hurt right there. Why did everybody just automatically... Yeah, I don't know why everybody took hits there. I'll have to go back and look at that because I was talking, but literally I think everybody took a hit all at the same time, and we weren't fighting anybody. So yeah, that's kind of weird. No, we should be fine. I mean, yeah, I'm a little low. Let's see, what level is this Festering Hag? It's red. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna sit out on that one. My spell would definitely be resisted for the most part. Uh-oh. Dan from Buffalo thought that was going to be a bad pull, and so did I for a second, but we have a really, really good tank, and by really good tank, I mean exceptional. He does not take hits pretty much at all. I mean, I think I've healed him twice during the entire time I've done this video. Maybe a little bit more, but not that much. Left wall looking for tank. Healer replacement sought in Guck. I do want to go to Guck so bad one of these days. I can't wait until I'm high enough level. I think I need to be a little bit higher to be able to go there. Not for Upper Guck, but for Lower Guck, which is where the really, really good loot is. I think I could probably go to Upper Guck right now. In fact, yeah, I may do that. I may try to get some people together and go over there and do some videos coming up pretty soon. Now, I'll probably shoot 4 or 5 videos tonight, so for the next 4 or 5 days, you know, I'm not going to have a video going over there, but hopefully pretty soon I'll be able to show you that, because I do enjoy that zone quite a bit. Lower Guck most of all, but Upper Guck is pretty fun too, and you kind of want to go to Upper Guck and learn the zone, because you have to go through that zone to get to Lower Guck. And even once you're high enough level to hunt in Lower Guck, some of the creatures in Upper Guck will still attack you on the way down. And if you're just not familiar with the zone and you're trying to go there and learn it, it's kind of a pain in the butt to get attacked by all these creatures that really aren't going to give you any experience but are still attacking you and just annoying you to no end. Yeah, so yeah, go there while you can get experience and learn the zone, especially if you know you're going to be going through it on a constant basis later down the road for whatever the reason is. So I think we've... I don't know how long this video is. I forgot to start the clock, but I don't want to make it too long tonight, guys, so I think we're going to go ahead and end it there. I do appreciate you guys watching. If you do enjoy these, please hit the like button, subscribe. I definitely appreciate that, and it helps to grow our channel. And we're actually getting pretty close to 100, guys. We just hit 80 subscribers, so last time at 50, I went out and gave you guys code, or some of you guys, 4 of them actually, codes to a beta game, so that you guys could join me and actually play with me if you wanted to, or just you know, actually experience the game for free before it came out. It was a closed beta, so the only way you could get in was to be invited, and so I sent out 4 of those codes to subscribers and commenters alike. And when we get to 100, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to do... I don't know what we're going to do just yet, but it's going to be something pretty cool, I hope. And, you know, every time we get to another milestone, I'm going to go back and give you guys something as well. So, if you want to be a part of that, you know, leave a comment, subscribe. You don't always have to be a subscriber to win. Just leaving a comment is good enough if you guys want to do that. Again, you're more than welcome to leave little helpful tips that you guys want me to pass on to people. Let me heal this guy real quick. He's taking a lot of hits, but he's taking on 3 guys, and I kind of have to watch out for aggro here. If I heal him too much too quickly, the other ones may come over here and jump on me. Now, the good way to stop that from happening, and I'm not trying to make the video longer, but the good way to stop that from happening, since it's showing itself, is if there's 3 or 4 guys sitting there attacking him and you can't heal him without the aggro coming out on you, but you have the time to spare because he's not taking the hits that hard, root the other creatures. Root all 4 of those creatures, and then you can heal him as much as you want, because the creatures can't come over and attack you. And it's actually kind of a good thing too, because if you can steal the aggro away from the tank and it's rooted, some of the time it will literally turn itself towards you, but you're far enough away it can't hit you, and it just stands there hating you, looking at you, you know, through those dead eyes of theirs, you know, down into your soul. but it can't hurt the tank because it hates you so much. It's not attacking him anymore, and it makes your job that much easier. Of course, until Root breaks and then it comes over there and whoops your butt. But hopefully by then, the tank has reacquired the aggro, and gotten it off of you. But yeah, there's plus sides and minuses to pretty much every aspect of this game, and you just kind of have to roll with it and realize what they are ahead of the time so that you can plan for it as best as you can. But again, guys, I want to thank you for watching, and we are going to go ahead and end the video here, and I'll catch you next time.